Hello everyone, my name is Zenitsu and I'm back with another Digimon video. So over the weekend I participated in the online webcam event and I participated in the Saturday event and that had about 250 players and I took 51st place, which isn't super great, but it's not like terrible. I don't see myself as a hardcore competitive player, so I wasn't really going in expecting to win the event. I just wanted to play some games and have a lot of fun, and, well, mission accomplished. I decided to take Rookie Rush just because it was one of the cheapest decks I could build off of what I had out of 2 booster boxes and 1 starter deck. So for the most part, I was pretty lucky in my pulls to be able to make it. I was thinking about running a purple metal Garurumon deck. I did manage to get a lot of the cards in time. Unfortunately, I don't have the Beelzemons to really tie that deck together. So I just decided not to take it, and I don't necessarily regret not taking it, even though I saw a total of 0 purple decks at the event, which was a little weird because I definitely think that purple is one of the stronger decks in the format. But I did play against quite a few different decks. So going over my rounds and my wins and my losses, round 1, it was me versus a yellow deck. I won a swift 2-0. There wasn't really much noteworthy that happened in the matchup, where I just out-tempoed my opponent and he really couldn't get started, and he really didn't see a whole lot of his control cards to really just shut my field down and try to lock me out of the game. So I just ended up winning that round. And then going into round 2, it was me versus a blue Omnimon list. And I lost the first game. Even though I triple Puppetmon locked his board down, he was able to restand his Omnimon with a Garurumon because I had to play Puppetmon and give him a whole bunch of memory. So he had a whole bunch of memory to just be able to play a Garurumon and use its on-play ability to just stand up his Omnimon and then swing for game 1. And then going into game 2, he played a Volcanic Dramon against me and then gave me a whole bunch of memory. And then I just reflooded the field, and basically he had no answers to me just flooding the field. So I ended up winning game 2 because of that. And then game 3 was really, really close, but I lost because he out-tempoed me and he went first. So he just saw a lot of his good cards to just really go tit for tat and kind of just play a hard game against me. And him going first definitely mattered a lot in the matchup just because it allowed him to aggress on my security first. And when we're going in for that security race, then that's kind of a very, very important factor. I did misplay at the end where I should have played a Flower Cannon in my hand to basically kill off one of his rookies so that way he is slightly off on his damage count, and unfortunately that would put me off on my damage count. So I don't exactly know if I would have won that game regardless, but that was just a big misplay, hoping that I saw a Hammer Spark in my security, and unfortunately that didn't happen. And then the ironic thing was that the Omnimon list that I lost to ended up taking first place at the event, so I don't really feel that bad about the loss. They were just very close games, and it was a very interesting match. And then going into round 3, I went up against another yellow list. This time it was ran by True Champion Steve, who ended up taking 5th place. And this list just felt very, very bad for Rookie Rush to play against because it was a very fine-tuned control list, where my opponent had a lot of anti-Rookie Rush tools to just kind of like beat the deck relatively easily. So what he ended up doing was he just ended up building a slightly go wide board, just slowly building up a lot of his Digimon, and then winning off of a lot of the passive abilities, just triggering all at once, getting him a whole bunch of additional value. On top of which, the matchup was also really, really hard because he was playing yellow and he had recovery, so he wasn't really playing a whole lot of blockers, but the fact that he was recovering already puts me off my damage game, and if I can't beat up his security fast enough, then he could just start recovering, and then there's just no real way for me to catch up. So that's kind of just what happened in a lot of the games. So he won game 1 just because he saw a lot of his control pieces, and then I did manage to take game 2 because he just didn't see any of his control pieces, so I was just able to steamroll. And then game 3 was just basically a repeat of game 1, where he just got so much of his advantage and control pieces that it was just very, very hard for me to deal with, because he was playing Kentarosmon to basically nuke my security text, so I can't really do anything. Then he was playing Mistymon, which helped control my board, and then because he had a couple of champions with Labramon and Patamon as the inheritable sources, then he was just gaining so much additional advantage just from killing off my board that it was very, very hard. And then he was also playing Slash Angemon, which was really good, Angelwomon for healing, so it was just a very, very hard matchup, and just one that I don't think that the deck is very good against. So that was round 3. Then going into round 4, I played up against another blue Omnimon list, and basically I was just able to dance around a lot of his efficiency cards, and he didn't exactly see a whole bunch of the efficiency cards. And then in game 2, I was just able to rush him down, and then Chumon was able to lock him out of some of his plays, because Chumon basically just helped me make it so that he can't gain additional memory, so that was just really, really clutch. Then going into round 5, it was me against a green deck, and basically I choked the green deck out of memory somehow, and he also misplayed by not really realizing when he was allowed to attack, so I was just able to, again, steamroll him with a Swift to 2-0 just because of his lack of experience with the matchup, where he had a lot of the good pieces, he just couldn't exactly see everything he needed to see sometimes. A Mimi is really important for that matchup because it allows you to build up your board very quickly and very efficiently against Rookie Rush, and then on top of which Titamon is absolutely huge in that matchup, where Titamon allows you to start swinging early and start trying to beat up my board. Then a lot of his champions were just very efficient and value-based, but again, this kind of just seemed like he wasn't super tuned to how the matchup wanted to be played, so I did just end up taking the games from him. Then round 6, I did manage to lose to a Mega Zoo deck with a blue low end. So the blue low end, from what I could tell, was just a Gomamons and Gabumons. Gabumon to draw, Gomamon to evolve off of into Upamon, and then you just use the blue end to play cards like Hammer Spark just to gain some additional memory. We traded games 1 and games 2, and then going into game 3, there was a huge misplay on my part where I shouldn't have started off with an Armadillomon, and I should have started off with a Chumon, because had I started off with a Chumon, then the first security check, which was a Darkness Claw, that gave him 2 memory, wouldn't have given him 2 memory, and then I wouldn't have been so far off on my damage count, where he was just able to win off of the back of a Puppetmon, and I really couldn't respond back because I didn't see my own Puppetmon, so he kind of just ended up squeezing out the win. I don't necessarily think I should have lost that game if I saw the right cards, but this is a card game and sometimes you just don't see the right cards. But I do think Megazoo is not that great of a deck, and that is a very easy matchup that I should have won. But again, the cards didn't align to let me win, so that's just what happens. And then as far as my round 7, it was against a basic red deck, and it was just a normal red deck, slightly upgraded starter deck, so it's not like they had that many different tools to really tackle what Rookie Rush was doing. So I just managed to win a Swift 2-0 there as well. And then going up into round 8, the final round, I did play against a blue Omnimon deck, and I won because my opponent misplayed on one of the games in one of the important rounds, where he stacked up the evolution into Omnimon in the raising area, and he didn't do it on the field, thinking that Omnimon's ability will trigger in the raising area. Unfortunately, it didn't, so that was a huge misplay on my opponent's part. He would have ended up winning the game if he hadn't misplayed, and then I just came back with a swift beating into the next game. But I did manage to end up losing one of the games just because my Digimon and Digitama didn't line up, and they were kind of just locking me out of just, like, getting extra advantage out of my Digitamas. So, like I said, the event was really, really fun. I ended up taking 51st place, which, again, for a person who's not super competitive but very active in the game, I'd say that's pretty good. It's like, I think, math-wise, top 25%, so that's not terrible. But I mainly participated in the event just because I thought the entry prizes were kind of neat, and I just wanted to play in a large scale event just to see how well I would actually do. But it was just a lot of fun, and it was definitely really interesting to be a part of because I haven't really partaken in like a large scale online event like this before. So that was definitely something really fun and really interesting. So I will definitely have a big video of all of my gameplay up later. So yeah, that's all I really have for this video. And as always, feel free to tell me your thoughts down in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. And I will see you in the next video.